Welcome to FUEL. FUEL stands for Finance, Unity, Empowerment, Legacy. Join us today as Dennis, Dr. Jackie, and Mac come from the theme, The Real Understanding of Money and Developing a Financial Plan, Part 1.
Oh my God!
Well,
It's always good to
boy,
see you guys.
if I could put some of the stuff that we do beforehand out there,
Better
just
not.
just get your blood stirring.
Good morning.
It's weird because we're trying to do a financial. No, we're not trying. We are doing a financial talk. There's no such thing as try. It's only do or don't. So we are doing a financial talk about our experiences, but I'm finding there's a brick wall between the real understanding of money. See, and it's weird because I was trying to help a bunch of people this week, and I found a something for them to grow their money in, where they can, I don't want to say any specifics, but they can grow their money faster than the bank. And because they had a problem with their telephone, they didn't want to do it. And I said, what's the telephone got to do with you making money? So tell me what happened with your telephone. Oh, I can't get on the website. So that means it's not for me. Maybe it means you need to get rid of that Apple phone. I said, because I had no problems with the website, but Apple, for some reason, some people with Apple phones have problems. I said, so just let me know. I have an Apple person that can help you out. If it's this hard, it's not good for me. Hard? You ain't done nothing yet. So I'm like, is it the money or is it because you got to push a couple extra buttons? We're talking about trying to strive for financial freedom, finance, education, legacy. There's a pathway that you have to follow. And if it was going to be easy, everybody would do it. But I do have a breakthrough. I finally got my daughter to understand, finally got my daughter to understand a little bit about money after 30 years of trying. Excuse me one second.
Yeah. Wow. That's the only time we can get a break from the mouth.
But talking about education, I think that people come up with whatever information and then there's a block to anything new. Well, I don't know about that. Well, that doesn't sound right. Or so even talking basic money, interest rates or whatever, individuals have their own opinion and block the education. It's an interesting phenomena.
Dr. Jackie, I got to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
When we deal with millennials and Z's and Y's and we talk about saving money, what's the first thing they say?
Well, when can I spend it?
When can I spend it? I'm gonna put in $2. Can I spend 100?
And audience, by the way, that wasn't rehearsed. That truly is the first thing they ask.
Yeah. I gotta admit, that's the truth. That's the truth. But here's the thing, though. I look at it from a generational point of view. These millennials, the whatever, the X generation, whatever you want to call them, it's like they just did not have the proper foundation from a financial point of view. So of course they are ignorant to it because all they've been exposed to is coming into some money and then that money going out to purchase something. They've never really, like, how many fathers and mothers like literally sit their children down when they are doing the finances to like make that a family hour. This is going to utilities. This is going to insurance. This is going to the mortgage, to put it in that context so that they can visually see how money works and how you should have a plan for any increase from a financial point of view.
Well, weren't we all brought up in the era of children should be seen? and not heard. So you didn't
Absolutely.
involve your children. It's something that Dave Chappelle said. He said, we were talking about Donald Trump. He said, when Donald Trump hears some bad news, he gets on the radio and says, y'all, there's some bad news. There's a war coming. And Dave Chappelle said, you're not supposed to do that. You're the president. That's like me telling my child, you know, I didn't get paid this week. We're not going to have no food on the table. I just wanted you to know, son. No, we are parents. We are adults. We are here to make life appear easier for our younger generations. Would also, I mean, look at us. You know, Mac, I've seen your mother's accounting records. Good grief. I have never, and I've been in the business world all my life. I've never seen a ledger that clean. And, you know, I did management, property management, I did stock, I did never have I seen someone with a ledger that clean. And it blows my mind that, now I don't know how you keep your ledgers, but my ledger looks like chicken scratch. And I've been in finance. Well, and to save myself the embarrassment, I keep my expenses down very low. So it's not like I got 20 things to keep track of, but neither did she. She kept track of the money coming in, the money going out. Me, I just make the money come in and then I just write checks to let it go out. Then somebody say, well, what did you spend last week? I'll be like, I don't know. I got what I wanted. Yeah, I know how to use those words too. But all I have is gas, electric, water, a roof over my head, and electricity for lights. And then, of course, we got to add the car.
Right.
So my accounting is very easy, but I was impressed because your mother is the generation before us. So here we go. Jack is disappearing.
I'm sorry. I'm
Here we go trying to
diamond in the back, sunroof top.
That was the lean back. So here we go trying to teach our children things that we really didn't learn until we hit, you know, our adulthood, truthfully.
Well, okay, so I might, maybe because I actually grew up around that, not that she actually sat me down per se, but I did see her in action.
Wow.
And that had resonance later. I won't say that I started my adult life practicing what she preached, so to speak, but as I got older, and then when my career started to go in that direction, and to answer your question, yes, I keep an immaculate ledger. I mean, it's just the nature of the beast because, you know, from a pure accounting point of view, black is a beautiful color, man, because in accounting, black means everything is straight. Okay. So I'm like, you know, I run my personal finances like a business, and of course I run the nonprofit like a business. Everything is on spreadsheets. I am one who can go back last week and tell you exactly how much I spent. It's just how I'm made.
Now you remind me of Dr. Jackie in that respect, because she keeps like passwords in the ledger and everything. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, if something happens to me, I keep everything in my head. Well, I used to. But if something happens to me, my daughter won't know a thing. So I sit her down and we have dueling ledgers where she has a book, I have a book, and we go over things. But I still feel, Mac, that there's something she don't know about somewhere in my life. I've done so much, you know, that I don't even think she knows where everything is. Right. And that's where a ledger comes in handy, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, for me, it's twofold because you can use it like let's say that you get into a bind where all of a sudden it seems like there's less money available, and you can kind of go to the ledger to kind of investigate, what did I really spend money on?
Bookkeeping. Here is where it all starts, the collection of information. In order to be able to appreciate its importance, try to imagine for a second that tomorrow you wake up and all the bookkeeping records in the world are gone. The first thing that you find out is that you don't have any electricity at home. The electricity company shut it down because they didn't have any records of you paying the bill. That's an awful surprise, right? But wait, there's more. You decide to go to the nearest supermarket and buy some juice, butter, and bread. But when you get there, they tell you that they don't have any. They didn't know that they were out of stock because all of their bookkeeping records are gone. You're starving and you don't have any electricity at home. Miserable situation. Perhaps some shopping in the city center would cheer you up. You decide to withdraw some money from the nearest bank. But when you get there, you find out that the bank doesn't have a record containing your name. They've lost the information about your savings. They are gone. You get the point, right?
And be able to kind of, work things through to make adjustments. And so, like, I'm not so rigid that there's no flexibility whatsoever. But like, for instance, because I'm living this dual life, so I got this U.S. life, but I also have this life in
You gotta be careful
Guatemala.
when you say dual life.
I got you. We're finance, man, finance, okay? but
Is one in secret?
but so there are periods of time when we're in the US that I know that I don't need to send as much money overseas because the expenses have gone way down.
That's
So
true. That's
so
true.
but when I'm in the US, it means that I have to make sure that I have enough to cover what's going on, in stateside, but at the same time, for the few expenses that we have in Guatemala, I had to make sure that we're covered for that too. So having that spreadsheet, it lets me be able to see it so that I can, manipulate it. It's never the same each month because things change, but I still have a working model that, like, if I were to die, my family can go into my computer and they can have an idea of what needs to be covered because it is there. I keep a notepad as well, and I document. I know people can't really see it, but I document everything. So they have a physical point of reference, but they also have online point of reference that they can be able to use to help them maneuver and understand where I'm going and where I'm trying to go. Plus, the way that I have my living trust set up is that all of the account numbers are on paper with the percentages because we never know how much money. So I have percentage allocations to the next of kin, right? But then on my computer, I do have the passwords and all the secret things that they would need to maneuver into those accounts, especially some of the special things that we're doing now. So they have to be able to know how to get to it. So in that way, every year I have a sit down with the two people that I'm entrusting with that information to keep them updated on what's going on. So they have somewhere to go. So I know I talked a lot about that, but I think it's really important because a lot of times people, they're living their lives as if there's never going to be any illness, there's never going to be any calamity, there's never going to be any death, and these things are very real. And I know the three of us can testify going to GoFundMe funerals.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of weird because I worked in construction, and we always called ourselves white collar, blue collar, because I had to keep track of all my ordering and all the parts that I needed and what customer I needed to see. But most of it I had to keep in my head because sometimes it was hazardous environments and you couldn't take a pencil and paper. It seems kind of weird, but you know, this is before text messages, because after text messages came in, I could just text what I needed so I could remember later. But I had to remember everything, you know, be here at 12 o'clock, be here at 9 o'clock, order this part for this customer, part number A 3912867. So I had to remember everything. But how do you teach someone how to do that? You know, I got it because I'm just I can keep numbers and things in my head, but I cannot keep birthdays in my head for some reason. I always forget birthdays. Well, a month before the birthday, I can remember it, but the day of it, I'm like, something's supposed to be happening today. But I guess it's because it was my job and the pressure was different, that I was able to keep track of everything. But then, you know, I got sick. I got sick one time and I had to rely on other people that didn't know how to get in my house, didn't know where my money was or how to pay my bills or all that kind of stuff. And that's really later on in my adult life. And when I realized that you have to have a plan, and it's cool to hear that you have a plan. And I know Dr. Jackie has a plan. I've seen her work with her parents when they transitioned also. Your father, well, not so much your father, but Dr. Jackie's parents. And it has taught me that if you don't tell somebody or you don't have it written down, it is lost forever.
So estate planning is basically planning for your future. So it's planning for situations that may occur during your lifetime or when you pass away. Usually when a client comes in to talk to me about what they need with their estate planning documents, we sit down and we discuss their current situation. Do you have children? What kind of assets do you have? What do you want to happen if a sickness occurs, or if you pass away, where do you want your assets to go? Who do you want to take care of your children? Most people don't think about why they need estate planning documents. They just think about how horrible it's going to be to draft them. They don't want to worry about doing a last will and testament or healthcare documents to make sure if they're in an accident or if something happens to them or a family member, that someone's going to be able to step in and help, or their attorney is going to have those documents on hand to provide those when the help is needed. But they truly are one of the most important plans that anyone can ever have. It provides you with security and comfort, and it provides your loved ones with the security and comfort in knowing that if something happens, and it doesn't even have to be a tragedy, maybe it's just a surgery where you have to have certain documents to ensure that you know things are going to be taken care of when you're down and out. But if you have those things, you're going to make yourself feel more comfortable, you're going to make your family and your friends feel more comfortable and know exactly what you want to happen in certain situations.
Yes.
And so it's strange, you know, as we're talking, you know, I can still remember I have some bonds somewhere in this house. And it could easily help my daughter out, you know, and I don't even remember where they are. Because I did this thing I called, I hid it from myself.
Yeah.
And usually when I'm looking for my socks, I find my shoes. When I'm looking for my shoes, I find money under the carpet. So I'm like, hey, I'll find it sooner or later. But then I said, you know what? Let me get a strong box. I'll keep everything in a strong box. And so I got a strong box here and a strong box there. Now I'm like, where is that white strong box? You know, where's my gold? Where are my bonds? Where's that book that tells how to get into my accounts? You know, one thing I did do though is I named everything after me. I was waiting for Mac to say something, but he didn't fall into the trap.
Narcissist.
So what I did was
Narcissist.
I used my initials for everything. DR blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Sawyer. And my daughter has the same initials. So I'm like, this will help with the transition. But then I started looking to ways that to keep, I'm sorry to say this, I hope this doesn't get me in trouble, but to keep the government out of my freaking finances. Because they tax you when you're born. They tax you when you go to work. They tax you when you quit your job and you retire. They tax you if you try to save money. They tax you when you spend money. They tax you when you die. They tax everything that's left after you're gone to your heirs. So I'm like, this is ridiculous. How much money do they need to waste on a hammer? So I started looking into different ways to transfer wealth to my family. And it's weird because I'm a straight proponent of 401ks. They are the worst things to transfer wealth. You know, I've seen people with $1 million in their 401ks and the most they get out is 600,000. Where'd the rest of it go? You've been saving all your life and they come and take it after you done paid tax on it already. You know, it's just a weird situation. And then my banker called me the other day. He said, you got some money in the bank. Can I help you find something to do with it? I said, I already know what I'm gonna do with it. I'm gonna take it out the bank. And then my daughter, the same thing. And he said, yeah, we can give you an account with 0.005. Isn't that great? And this is what started my daughter on the phone call to me. Daddy. Yes, she still calls me daddy. It's kind of weird from a 33-year-old, but daddy.
Not really. Mine do it.
He said, this man offered me 0.005 and I almost laughed in his face. And I called you up because I need to sit down with you. What? I need to sit down with you and you got to teach me. And we actually had a teaching moment.
But who initiated that teaching moment?
Say that again?
Who initiated that teaching moment?
She did.
Exactly. So
wow.
we try, but it doesn't happen till they're ready. It comes when, oh, my phone doesn't work. You can't teach me. Oh, that's too hard for me. You can't teach me. Oh, it's falling out the trees. So I have this whole aversion to ATM because my brother taught me his belief system about money, his knowledge base. So maybe, you know, the parents didn't talk to them about it. I don't know how much your parents talked to Mac, you about this ledger, or did you learn about it in these older times when one has passed and the other is, and you now get an appreciation for what they knew and what they did. But my brother got an ATM and thought, all I do is stick it into the little slot, put in the number, and I get money. Woohoo! Overdrew. Why? What do you mean? What is happening? Never looked at his statement. Never. Your daughter said, ha, 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 because she'd heard something about interest rate, understood that 0.005, knew she didn't understand it. Because you say, Dennis, how you have tried to tell her.
Years.
Okay. But she's ready now. And what we have to do is grab hold. So how do we make a ready moment for these others who are in so desperate need of this information? That's one of the reasons Fuel came into existence, because hoping that someone, remember I told you, my niece said, you all still doing that Fuel thing? I saw you all, because they're media. I said, yeah, it's every Friday. Well, we do it for tape on Friday, but it's posted on Mondays. But you could go on and see different episodes, a moment. And something we hope that we say will grasp those of you who view to say, I don't know about that. I need more information about that. a teachable moment.
Thank you for joining us today for part 1 of our discussion on the real understanding of money and developing a financial plan. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Fueling Future Generations and reach out to us by email at fuelingfuturegenerations2020@gmail.com. Have a great day.